Hello, my darling Gemini. Gemini, welcome to my channel. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yep. So, this is a mid March reading for my dear Gemini, and we shall be reading from two decks in order to build a great mirror for you. This is a situationship reading, so it'll be dealing with the energy of you, your object of affection, and the mirror between you two. This is a reflexive reading, it's a love reading, and hopefully it will show you the cycles of karma and how to break free from these in order to find liberty and to find love, which is an extension of freedom. So, first off, I will open a small portal, which is a small pre-read, to calibrate the energies between us, and we shall view the great mirror soon after the 9-card spread. Clarifications will be done using a bicycle deck from the 70s. It's a nice playing card deck. And of course my 1890 deck here, which is from BP Gamal, France, Paris, France. So, this deck is ready. My dear Gemini, you are showing up here in the reading with Osamantes, the lovers, as well as the number 10 card, Harvest, and the Reaping. There is something in the month of mid-March in which you are possibly trying to find a way to find just benefit, to reap your rewards in terms of the situations of love. There's a strong possibility that you are dealing with and are possibly in love with two various people. Yeah. There's a possibility that you are struck with love struck and have an option to make. This is the two roads energy, in which there's a possibility to choose from a number of lovers. One, it feels like they owe you something, and there is a passion for actually reaping the just reward. And when it comes to this, you are torn between two people who are, one is younger, one is older. One has a control over their domain when it comes to the intellectual realm. They're both great communicators, but one is more playful than the other. And both of these people do not know of each other. At the same time, it could be an interpretation of you in that you are split between either a younger way of communication, of loving, even of idealizing love. Perhaps you've idealized love in a way, or you're stuck in a sort of warp in which you're trying to find out which style of love is the more appropriate one. But at the same time, there is a feeling that perhaps you cannot make the choice. There's something that still needs to unearth itself, and perhaps you are waiting for the right time to reap the rewards. If you're dealing with two people, two choices, both of them are not to be trusted. One is very possessive about the way they love, and they have a very romantic and perhaps naive way of telling you things, and these things that they tell you, that they communicate to you, and it's of poor communication on both aspects, on both people. There's a possibility that they are not totally telling you the truth, that some of their moves towards you are just purely innocent as well as flirtatious, but very, very light, and to the point where it's not attached. It's not commitment material. And there is also a possessive quality to this person, one that challenges in a way your growth and your own sort of prowess when it comes to what you truly are desiring in terms of love, what you are trying to pull into. But perhaps you're sitting here pretty, and a person that you're dealing with has two options, and both are liars, both are manipulators, and they're very possessive. At the same time, something about one of the lovers that your person may be dealing with, maybe going through a mode of emotional detachment and perhaps are playing a very strong victim mentality. Now, when it comes to you and your idealization of love, there's a chance that you're trying to project onto other people, and this is not a very healthy thing. In that, the Empress truly she does not need to project onto other people, but there is something here about the vision of truth, of higher power that is in question here. With the Sun in reverse, it indicates to me that there is a lesson to be learned in all of this mischief. There's a lot of love around you, and it seems to either involve you centrally or be around you, and you are in a mode of self-love and trying to find a way to escalate. In the past, when it comes to your energy with the Empress, there's something here that you were able to avoid by avoiding a love situation, and foolishly the person you were dealing with entered some sort of great calamity, and through the higher consciousness, that is the collective consciousness, there was a destruction of that relationship in particular. Something very karmic and something Saturnian and perhaps Uranian came out of the sky and then created a great fumbling between the two, which was good for you because in a way you were protected. There was something about this person's mentality that was very much playing a victim mentality, and victims are all weak losers in a way. Victimization is a serious epidemic of the complexion of a lot of people who are going through love situations. To play the victim is to play, a very small violin. And I think that you have, in essence, learned something from this karma that you may have perceived at a distance from forces outside of yourself. But there's still something very sad and something about your lesson that you're trying to learn here. But beauty and grace are blessing you in the month of March, and perhaps you will be revisiting some sort of feelings that have died out in a situation that was requiring a lot of, it was very taxing on the mind, and you had to find a way to find the lesson of the hurt as well as laying that burden down. Was it worth it, I wonder? Yes, it was, because there's something very spiritual that you've learned that you're willing to share with others, especially people in your in the garden of your community. There's something that you're learning about love right now that is very fulfilling, in that it shows you of the cycles of death as well as the cycles of reaping that come from that death. There's some sort of fruition here. Um, as I've said, communications will be very difficult, especially with the lingering retrograde energies. People will not be telling you the complete truth, and perhaps there are elements inside of you, one that stems from your childhood, one that stems from the lineage of your father, that are both emotional blocks as well as have this tendency to obsess over things that have abandoned you. And through all this release, there is something about you just transcending and, yes, perhaps getting away from modes of sacrifice that are unnecessary, that take you out of balance, or perhaps making sacrifices to keep you into some sort of patient balance. The Empress is very patient. She's one of the most patient cards, and you should embrace that energy even if it's in your darkest of hours, all right? Wow. Okay, that pre-shuffle is donezo, and I'm putting that deck away. We shall switch over to the 1890 deck, which is one of my favorites. It's a very expensive deck from the French school, the Aliette school, and as you can see, the quality is still quite good. The red speckles are fantastic. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done sort of advertising vintage decks, and we'll just go ahead and get into your reading, my dear Gemini. So once again, this is a situationship reading for the mid-month of March 2020 for Gemini. And my dear Gemini, if you will relax both your left and right brain and just clear your mind, that would be fantastic. Relax, please. All right, this deck is ready. Hmm. Wow. Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay, there is an opportunity to revisit someone from the past who may be offering you a type of commitment, promising that they will create peace. This is an episode of Unfinished Business, and they see you in your prowess after casting you outside of um, their vision. Somehow you've eluded them, you've disappeared, and they are still on the path of pentacles, but there is this sort of central locus of heartbreak that ties you two together, and they're promising some sort of revisitation towards this heartbreak as well as the feeling of abandonment to essentially there's going to be a great divide and that both of you are healthier by not revisiting the situation, and this person's offers may be quite superficial in a way based on the material world. Now, this is your energy. Beautiful. This is the mirror between you two. This is their energy. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Let's start with the magical realm here. This is the subconscious realm. Um, it's the field in which the brains operate and create electrical impulses and then manifest things into reality. It is the realm of consciousness, but also the subconscious, in which active forces are, through programming of the brain, constantly pulling up polarities and then creating um, willpower. This is the magical realm. This is what we're trying to bring into reality. Of course, this is your energy, this is theirs, and this is the mirror between you two. It's a reflexive reading, so you can view each other through the mirror. Okay? Now, between you two here, this is the crux of everything. There is the Empress energy. The Empress is here once again. Your energy is here once again from the pre-shuffle that I did, the first portal. There is the energy of the Empress here between you two. There's an idea of growth that both of you are bringing into this situation. Whether that is whether that's going to be real growth in terms of your own individual practices in your own individual lives, that's a possibility. There's also a possibility for some sort of metaphysical childbirth here, some sort of intense cooperation and an intense need to come together to grow together. But what is happening here is, if you believe in twin flame dynamics, the divine feminine is getting most of the push here. There is an incredible energy that is around this, and your connection is essentially one of a pure energy that is manifestation, a pure energy of manifestation. It's very intuitive, it's also very creative, but it's very feminine, so it's kind of receptive in a way. That's what I said. I mean, the Empress just has to sit there and look pretty, and she's essentially wealthy in that respect. We have the energy of Libra as well as Taurus here. Why is the Empress here? We'll figure it out. Okay, we have the Pentacle cycles again kicking in heavy. There's something about the stability within this situation that is begging to be to work together after a period of feeling abandoned. There's something about this here that is speaking of commitments, yes, commitments as well as the energy of trying to expand in a certain way after a feeling of abandonment. However, these are the very infantile aspects of, in particular, of the Pentacle cycle. We're not even breaking Six of Pentacles here. It's very early on. So there's something about this Empress who sits here that is recognizing the beauty of a connection, recognizing its potential for growth, but not necessarily living out that growth. It's a very passive energy, and I think both of you see each other through this lens of passivity. Okay, both of you want to see each other through this lens of beauty, grace, of the arts, of love that is based on the great mother of the major arcana. Okay, on your side, we have here the King of Cups. Why is the King of Cups here? Wow, it's all pentacles. So commitment is very heavy here, and stability is very heavy here as undercurrents within the subconscious realm. There's something about what you guys are doing or not doing together that involves the need to find conservation, especially on your end, conservation as well as leaving off unfinished business. However, it's interesting because the King of Cups is moving this way consciously towards something else, but then looking back. They want to offer their love to something new, but there's this looking back aspect about the King of Cups. It's a very masculine energy too. It's looking back at this person as well as through the lens or through the mirror of the Empress energy. There is something about regret here, but also about a great deal of love that is being trying to offer it somewhere else, but it's constantly looking back. What this indicates to me is that there is a repressed form of love that is not being given to this person. However, it is felt for them, but the energy that you have for this person, you're trying to give it off to someone else, as if you're trying to give it off to someone else. Okay? The ethics behind this mode, whether it's true or not, my dear Gemini, is, it's clearly up to you. Um, I do know of certain situations in which people will have this love for someone else because they've been awakened. Their heart chakra, for example, is exploded, and they feel very powerful in the sacral chakra where all this love and this power is there, and they have to do something with it. The King of Cups is very wise, so this mode of looking back is always to make sure that the path of love that they're on is just. Okay, perhaps they owe something to this person, Gemini, that you may feel like you owe something to this person for propelling you on this change and having you grow in a certain way in love. But there is this want, this desire, this magical need to coerce things around you so that you can give to new lovers, for example. On their end, they have the Ace of Rods in reverse. Why is the Ace of Rods in reverse? Okay, because they have a truth about some sort of tension they find in this situation, as well as with others. They are trying they are trying, but failing to actually start something new with others, whoever this is, outside of your connection, of your situation. But they're finding themselves really impotent as well as passionless when it comes to this with the Ace of Rods in reverse. Okay? But they want to. That's the thing. They want to, especially in secret, start passions elsewhere. There's a very polarized sort of sharing of this energy in which both of you are growing apart somewhere, and perhaps that's what you guys want to do. Okay? It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's set in stone or anything. One more thing. There is a very heavy connection between the way both of you project onto each other a nurturing element. Here, in the willpower, both of you are trying to essentially come up with a way of, of feeling nurture, feeling that etheric cord, that umbilical cord that is tied to a mother's love, and then trying to find that somewhere else. There's a There's a huge abandonment issue that comes from the psychosis or the psychology that involves your relationship, and there's this dependent aspect that both of you are trying to break from. Okay, the codependent aspect, definitely. Um, all right. So on the conscious level, here we have on your end the Three of Cups in the upright, and it's clarified by the Three of Cups as well as the Three of Swords. There is a guilty feeling about you feeling happy without this person, um, most definitely. But at the same time, you feel happy regardless. It's not that you're two-faced, my dear Gemini. It's just that you see the possibilities of love, and though you feel in love with this person, you also feel in love with yourself. And in a way, it's like that whole riddle of Gemini, in that you are the twins, and there's a sort of like self-love within Gemini that is quite respectable. The sun's energy, for example, there's the great sun, and then there's two twins or two children that look exactly like each other that are constantly in quarrel or something like that. There's a strong desire for spiritual love and harmony with your environment, and you're getting that. You are reaching out into places that involve joy, involve camaraderie. Your friends are very important to you now, as well as people who are just in love with love in general. But you're still processing a type of heartbreak, and it breaks your heart that you're actually getting into a good mood, which is very strange, right? Um, on their end, they have the Eight of Cups. There's a clear indication of emotional detachment, especially because of a type of rejection that occurred, as well as a type of stagnation um, with the Ten of Cups, that they feel that they are looking for. The motivation is to jump from the 8 to the 9 to the 10 of Cups. This person has abandoned, in a way, this cycle in order to find um, some sort of meaning behind it, some sort of greater meaning. Perhaps this person is a spiritualist. It's possible. There's a lot of fire here, as well as soul energy. They have a lot of emotions, but also they embody a type of detachment in which they have to go on some sort of quasi-spiritual quest that involves, the hermit mode on the cups level. So it's a very emotional sort of withdrawal. They have to practice detachment somehow. And it's because there's something about the emotions that makes them inherently sad, or perhaps jaded, um, but they still also carry with it an idealized version of what love should be with the Ten of Cups. Okay, between you two, on the conscious level, this is the most like this is the worldly level. We have the Five of Rods. The Five of Rods indicates conflicts of passion, a great deal of ego between you two. And what is manifested is this tension, this friction between you two in terms of what is desired mostly on the utmost. And the indication is that the desires do not lead up to harmony. There's a lack of victory here because of well, for one thing, the Four of Rods energy, as well as the King of Swords energy. This person is a great idealist. Whatever they do, they try to stand by it, but almost foolishly. And there's something about the Four of Rods energy that indicates to me a great soul tie that this person is looking away from. They might be quite foolishly looking for it somewhere else, and they can be very rigid and stubborn in their ideas and opinions. However, they may be rethinking this connection if there's been a lot of, say, um, stagnancy between you two. There is also, hmm, yeah, um, I see a lot of separation here. Um, And it's strange because both of you are happy with this, and you're trying to explore options elsewhere. If this is an old flame of yours, a twin perhaps, it could be that you're waiting for the right timing for a period of growth after abandonment, as well as trying to work with others in general. especially with friends and other connections of commitments or love or whatever to explore in a way. Um, yeah, but I think generally you're on the way out or something like that. There's something about this situation, especially on your side, that indicates to me that on the outside, like you are happy, but on the inside, there's still something very broken because your heart was crossed by this connection. And so you're trying to move away from this connection in order to find new love somewhere else. But it's funny because you've learned a lot about love through this person, and now you're still looking back, even though you're trying to move on. And there's also some type of mm, like conservation about your love, and you're trying not to give it to everyone because you know you still want to give back to this person. It's not regret, it's just practicality. There's something about the emotions inside of you that are so crystallized and perhaps even frozen by now. If you think of love as water, it's so frozen that it cannot be, it's frozen in time, and not until like this great period of an ice age when it comes to your love life, there will be some sort of thawing out and an ability to share that water a lot more easily through aqueducts of productivity and civilization. Okay, enough of that extended metaphor. We're moving on to the soul level here on your side. We have the Queen of Cups, and it's moving elsewhere. Just like the King here, you have the King and the Queen on your side. There's something inside of you, my dear Gemini, that is both masculine and feminine, not at the same time, but separate entities. The twins are, yes, they may be identical, but they're of different sexes, and they've matured to such an extent that you're finding self love inside of you, as well as knowing how to control that love and nurture yourself on a soul level outside of this connection. However, there is the Ten of Swords as well as the Six of Pentacles here, a need for balance as well as a need to get over a great cycle of pain. Perhaps this is a karmic partner who's just teaching you a lesson and you're trying to move on from it, but it's very difficult. But there is harmony and you're finding joy overall. But there's still some sort of element of pain and a need to find balance with a type of commitment that this person might have once tried to offer you. Right now, between you two, there is the Knight of Cups, a romantic love story, and this is also a timeless level. This soul level, this unconscious level is very timeless. Something that you're always doing. This person is also very much idealized this love in a way. The Two of Cups is here. They feel a great deal of love to you, and there's this movement outward. It's as if the love that they teach you, you're trying to give and teach others, and tell others your story or something like that. And between you two, there is this Knight of Swords energy, in which there is the Seven of Swords and the Jack of Cups. So the knight essentially shows up twice. It's kind of like a page or a knight, shows up twice, and the love is being shared that way. It's shared towards you, who is like a mother figure to this person, if you want to look at it that way. But there is something about the element of thievery as well as the element of cutting here in order to move on with the Five of Swords and the Two of Swords energy, cutting out and then moving on away from this person who may be bothering you right now, or perhaps have always bothered you since you first met them. There was something about their motivations and their own love style that had to do with a type of romance that might have been outdated for you, or perhaps really played out in a certain way, or perhaps you were more mature when it comes to love, what it really means, which is this nurturing aspect, this giving aspect. And now that they are sort of trying to give to you, there is sort of a holdback in that they find victory in you, and they also are the King of Cups here. There's something about a mirroring here where what you want to become is truly what they are on the soul level, and perhaps you idealize this person, but there's this need to give elsewhere, to give back to your community, or to give to others or other lovers or other projects, something like that, where you want to give back to humanity what this person has taught you throughout karmic lessons or karmic wheels of time. There is this motivation that they want to give you something, but like I said with the pre-read here, there is a sense of trying to revisit some sort of unfinished business from a karmic cycle that involves good health as well as becoming healthy after a period of abandonment and heartache. And the cycle always repeats itself. Only through the lens of a fool does this cycle repeat itself. And there's always this promise, but then the promise leads to a type of freedom, as well as um, good health through separation, something like that. It's very different. It's very, very difficult because it's possible that this person's love for you is toxic because they constantly push pull. They have this tendency to move away, as well as either lack passion or not try to have passion towards you, and they move passionately somewhere else. But on the soul level, they are forever committed to you somehow, and then on the soul level, you're forever committed to your environment or like the people outside. There's something about this that is really quite the riddle to me, and I would appreciate any sort of comments or um, any sort of clarity on all this. We have the Jack of Diamonds here. This is the parlance card, the one for peace, the one for negotiation. Um, Perhaps boundaries were definitely needed to be made clear here, and possibly someone is crossing over these regularly on the soul level energetically, and maybe perhaps it's too much for you and you have to pass it on, something like this. I don't know. What do you think? Right, this is Ron from Terror of the Twin Sun. Thank you very much, and I really do appreciate you watching. This was a weird read, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I expect nonetheless from you, especially with the retrograde season, there was a great deal of lessons that everyone had to learn. So hopefully there's something that we can share together in this reading. And I really do appreciate you, my dear Gemini. See you in April. I can't believe it's already the 4th month of the year. Thank you very much. And once again, thank you. Bye-bye.